And welcome back to the Lair. I'm SULK and here to bring you a next build video. Today we are trying something a little bit different because we have a new line that we are excited to bring you. And it's actually bear robots. This kit is made by WANGAO, and I'm probably butchering that name, I apologize. And kit number 188001, rated for 6+. I am trying to search for how many pieces are in it, but no labels, anything, so one way to find out. This is actually called the Perspective Mechanical Violent Bear. So you can see half of it is pretty much fully armored up, and the other side shows all the internals. You'll come to see that the rest of the line, it all matches this kind of, matches the design of pretty much half and half mechanical, half pretty much all plated. And there's a lot down the line that I'm really excited to bring, especially to the video. And again, I just can't wait to build some of these things. But we have to start with number one. And can't wait to get started, and let's get into it. Starting things off, let's take a look at the box. At the very front of it, see pretty much just the bear all by itself, really nothing else in the background. I can't really read any of the stuff that comes on the front, except the 400%. And wish I was a little bit more educated and cultured, but it is what it is. On the side, shows Mechanical Violent Bear. That's the description. On the other side, actually. So what it says here is, the Violent Bear is a ruthless and ferocious violent bear. In fact, he's an expert in combat. He can accurately judge the weakness of the enemy and respond in time to kill the enemy. Ominous. On the back, shows more statements. The ruthless and ferocious violent bear is actually a good fighter. That's good to know. Have chest details, head details. Shows that the fingers are pretty articulate. That's pretty cool. On the bottom here, shows both of these legs are movable, but it's going to be a showpiece, so we will just be leaving it on a stand and throwing it back there after we're done. Let's crack her open. First thing I want to mention is when you crack open the box, again, these alternative bricks kits are getting packaged ridiculously nicely, because I'm not expecting that. Both boxes not really labeled 1 or 2 or anything like that, but kind of assume head box, first one, legs, second one. However, the instruction manual is in the leg box, so if you just want to grab one first, you need this obviously. Nice thick instruction booklet, full color, but at the very beginning, no forward, nothing really about the bear, but that's all kind of on the box itself. Forgiveness. Has 138 pages of instructions with 440 different instructions on it. Not too bad. If anything like the Astro Boy build we have back there, should be pretty easy. Let's get started. Here we have the finished product of the bear robot, aka the mechanical violent bear. And we start from the bottom of it with the base. Luckily for us, it does come with one. You pan around it, has a lot of detail on the base itself. Has a little bit of piping here to kind of show it needs to be refueled. It ties nicely to its actual stand. You'd assume that the base would actually can hold the model proper, but you'd be sadly mistaken because these kind of float around a bit. There's little pegs at the very bottom of it that kind of hold onto the bottom of the leg, but they really don't do a good job. If you actually seen the video that I tried putting it on first, it does topple over. So don't say I did not warn you. What actually holds the bear onto the base itself is these two little pieces here, these little cylinder pieces that kind of clip in. That's all that really holds onto it. So be very careful. Moving on to the actual legs. If you look at the left side leg here, completely fully plated, you don't see any kind of studs popping out. They use good use of these towel pieces to give it a nice sleek edge to it. Moving on to the mechanical side, this is where, again, all the best detail is. They do such a great job of showing all the gearing, everything, little technique pieces thrown in here and there. And it just does such a great job of showing what would look like underneath the skin. Let me just move the arm out of the way. So you use a lot of different parts. Like you can see these little telephone pieces used to add for extra detail as well. All these little tubes, these 1x1s, again, does such a great job of it. As we move up to the torso, with the arm out of the way, again on the mechanical side, see little pipes, everything's like, it does such a great job of showcasing what would be underneath these mechanical robots. And clearly see where the heart would be. You might be wondering why I'm taking a lot more in-depth look on the mechanical side than actual, well, what the skin side would be. It's just that, to me, that's where the goodness in these models lie. It's just that it adds so much more to the actual figure itself, more than just covering up all these tiles. I like seeing what's underneath. Just moving on to the arm, fully articulate arm, which should not have done that. But yeah, it's kind of only held onto this little piece here. And hand opens and closes. Oh. Yeah, you gotta be really careful when trying to move this around because it is a little bit on the more fragile side when it comes to all this detail. Has a very good Alright, I'll just show this first. Has a very good tolerance on this little ball joint here that allows the arm to stay in place when you move it up and down. That is a very good thing. But when you move on to the covered up side, there's too much weight in all these tiles that in some positions, gravity does its job. Hand doesn't really move, but it does have an elbow joint. Not a very good one, but a little bit of rotation here. Moving up to the head of it, so we'll start on the cover side first. See a nice little angry expression on its face, kind of suits the name Mechanical Violent Bear, so it has a nice little scowl. Covers up very well nicely of any kind of stud. And all in all, on this side of the head, there's only about 3 studs that stick out off these kind of pieces here. But there's nothing really you could really do about it, because if you put these little one-on-one tile pieces, it'll kind of mess up the whole flow of the model. Has a little ear here that kind of wiggles up and down. You have to do a very good job of, like, I don't think I did that great of a job, but these have to be lined up perfectly, or you're going to have to see all the little lines here. Should probably fix that later. Moving on to the mechanical side of it, see where the eye socket would be, and is again artist's interpretation of what it would look like underneath the skin. You can see, they do such a great job of utilizing the entire real estate of the head. There's pretty much only like a handful of loose stud pieces that don't really have anywhere to go. But you have all these extras, like extra 1x1 tiles. You can technically really just cover it up. But I'm not too sure how it suits the aesthetic of the model. You see where the ear would be? It does kind of wiggle like its counterpart. And move into the back. So let's get back to the rest of the review. And we are back. This kit took about 4 hours, 15 minutes, 4 hours and a half to build. And let's just get into it. First thing I like to say, it's nice that it comes with a base. But again, be careful when putting the base on or putting the model onto the base, because I had a little bit of issue where I decided to put the feet on first before attaching the back. And when I thought it was balanced, it clearly wasn't. It just teetered forward. And some of the pieces kind of went here and there. Good thing is it's freshly built at that point, and I was able to remember where everything went. So don't say I didn't warn you, because that'll be a first warning when it comes to putting this all together. I like to say that like all these alternative brick builds that I've done so far, I can't stress enough how good of a job it does of hiding all the studs. Sure, there are about like 2 or 3 loose studs just showing up here and there, but compared, like, let's just put it like 98% of it is all nice and covered up. You see a little bit of attitude in his face, little angry eyes. We can't really see it on this side, but yeah, it has a little bit of angry eyes here, so it likes to be the violent bear that I like to describe it, that the box described it was. Moving on to the mechanical side of it, again, there are no wasted studs on this thing. Every loose stud that has any, like, it just has either piping on it, a little bit of tile pieces, but everything is nice and covered up. And as you see in the close-ups, there's just so much detail on the mechanical side. A little bit of issues I might have with it is that no real ratcheting joints on the arms here, so gravity will eventually take its toll, and they will start to droop. But they did a decent job of the tolerances, especially on the mechanical side, that it seems to be hold up relatively well. This side here, with all the extra tiles on it, you can clearly see that it does kind of drop a bit. So posing isn't really much of a thing that you would have on this little figure itself, but its job to stand there menacingly. It does a great job of that. Again, you can see that whoever designed this did such a great job of trying to showcase the entire mechanical side. You have the heart piece here. Again, the head was the longest part to build because of just all the extra tiles and all the extra detail, but it does such an amazing job of just showcasing it all. One other issue I do kind of have with it is that I hate to use the word bland, but it is relatively average compared to, let's just say, even the Astro Boy, the Ariel, or even all the ones that are going to build online. But since this is the original one, the first of it, you kind of give it a little bit of leeway on that. Again, this bear walked so the other ones could run, fly, or you name it. Original recipe is what I would like to say. Best analogy I could put. So that just about wraps up my build and review of the bear robot. If you like this kind of content, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and hit that bell notification for updates. I'd like to also say that, again, our website is up and running at conquestletter.com. And don't forget to follow us on all other social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. All of that should be up and running. Until then, I'm SULK, and have fun building, y'all. Laters.